Hello and welcome to the Garden Shop How to Garden video. In this video we want to show you the process involved in sowing your beetroot seeds. Okay, so we have here some beetroots that we'd sown already about 4 weeks ago. So now we're just going to show you how to get to that stage really. Now beetroot's a good crop to grow because it's quite reliable and is relatively pest free. So if you're a beginner or you're starting out in growing vegetables, beetroot is a good crop to get you started with. Now beetroot can be sown two ways. You can sow it directly into the soil where you want it to grow, or you can grow it indoors earlier in the season to give it a good head start. Now you can sow it in one of two things. I would recommend sowing it in your fibre pots such as the ones we have here. These are very deep pots giving you a good root zone and good space for the roots to grow. And also fibre pots are biodegradable, which means there's no transplanting required. You simply take the fibre pot and plant it directly into the soil. Therefore you're minimizing root disturbance, which is crucial for any root crop such as beetroot, carrots, parsnips and others. Alternatively, you can grow them in seed trays such as this, sowing one seed per seed tray. So we'll just show you the process now. We're going to show you it using a fibre pot. So basically you just want to take some potting compost and fill your fibre pot. So you want to give it a good fill up to the top. Just loosen up any large pieces of soil, taking out any chunks as you go. So if you see something like that, you can just give it a little break up. You want a very fine, crumbly soil to sow your seeds into. Once you've filled it up, just give it a tap down for the soil to compact. Again, I'm just going to pull out any twigs or any large chunks. Next, I'm just going to soak the soil, and in this case we'll use a pressure sprayer. You'll see the soil will start to sink down a little bit as it fills up with moisture. Okay, so you want it to get a good soaking. The first time compost has been wet, it needs to be very well soaked. So we'll let that just drain out a bit now. Another advantage of your fibre pots is that they have the ability to breathe. Air can get in through the sides of the pots, which gives better air distribution throughout your soil. As I said, they're biodegradable, so they'll break down in the soil. They also have a good colour in them, and they also absorb heat, which means the soil is warmer, and warm soil is crucial for seedling growth. So again, when do you sow your beetroot? Well, beetroot's generally sown once the soil and the air has warmed up sufficiently. So you want to wait till the middle of or end of March before you begin sowing. Be sure to wait till after any frost has passed if you're going to sow directly outdoors. If you intend on growing indoors, you can grow them earlier in March or towards the end of February and keep them in a warm location where it doesn't go below 10 degrees Celsius. Now I just have the seeds out in my hand here. So I have 4 seeds in my hand. So really you just want to place 3 seeds in a fibre pot of this size. So I'm just going to place them in a triangle close to the centre of the pot. There's one left over I can leave here. And then now that they are in place, I'm just going to cover them over lightly with more compost. Okay. So they're covered over now. And then just give that a little light pressing in. Okay. So in about 2 weeks those seedlings should have emerged. I'm just going to put it to the side here. You can label it up, always a good idea. And when you're writing your labels, just put down the name of the crop and the time you sowed it. So beetroot. And then the date. Now a good idea when you're sowing beetroot is actually to soak the seeds for about an hour or 2 before you sow them, and that just speeds up the germination process. So that should germinate in about 2 weeks, and after 4 to 6 weeks you should have seedlings that have emerged just like this here. So if you look closely you can see that the seedling has 4 sets of leaves, or 2 sets of leaves. It has its original seed leaves, and then it has its actual first set of true leaves emerging there. So once your seedlings have emerged, what you want to do now is thin them out so that you only have one seedling per fibre pot, and then you will allow that seedling to grow on a little bit more, and then that entire fibre pot will be transplanted out into the garden. So what you do when you're thinning out is you take the least healthiest of the two seedlings and you simply pull it out from your compost and then remove it. And that's the process of thinning out. We now just have one seedling growing in our fibre pot, and that will then get a better chance, more space, less competition to mature. Then what you want to do then is move your seedlings out into the garden where they will grow. Don't do it, wait until it's warm enough before transplanting onward. You will simply take the fibre pot and plant it directly down into the soil. If you were to use something like a 15 or 24 cell seed tray such as this, you will have to transplant the seedlings by removing them from each cell. It's important that you take good care and don't disturb the roots, as root crops do not want their roots to be disturbed. Before transplanting out into the garden, it is ideal or recommended that you harden off your seedlings first. So in that case, a seedling like this will be placed out into the vegetable garden during the day and then brought in at night. And then the day before sowing, transplanting your broccoli or your beetroot, you would place your beetroot out into the vegetable garden all day and leave it out there all night. The next day then you will plant or transplant your beetroot. So that's the process then. That's it really, that's the process. So once these seedlings have grown on a bit, we will then go out to the vegetable garden and show you how to transplant your broccoli. So that's a video on how to transplant your beetroot from thegardenshop.ie.